Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing JD Vance and the Hand of Death. Now, if you guys all know, you all know exactly what I am alluding to. We have covered this a little bit briefly in the series of JD Vance, series of unfortunate events. Back at it again with a part 2 with JD Vance, the Hand of Death. So we're going to take a look at that and let's find out what is what's going on here. Why wherever JD Vance goes, bad things happen. Whether he's touching somebody, whether he is a terrorist attack to happen, the Pope is dying. What are happening like that? We're also going to take a quick look at Pope Leo the 14th and find out what is going to happen when he is meeting JD Vance, because JD Vance is basically the Hand of Death. And I just want to be very careful because I do love the Angel of Death that has spoken to him many times. He's a great individual and he's very misunderstood. So I just want to make sure that is very clear and abundant, that the Angel of Death does not always, allow for death to happen and occur, but he also does allow for the life as well. Death controls not only life, but also controls death and simultaneously both. Yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead. Let's begin. This video is being recorded on Friday, May 16th at 1:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as and when I'm recording this video. If you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content. Helping out the channel grow would also help the algorithm tremendously. And let me know in the comment section below. I really want to know what you guys think of today's video. And this video again for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. If you want to be notified when I do post and upload, go into the comment section below, follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group if you want to be notified when I do post and upload. And I also provide a donation link because I know some of you guys have been asking. I'm not going to ask you to donate, but if you do, it's there. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's begin. So I want to kind of talk about the Angel of Death first, just so you kind of have an idea of who the Angel of Death is. When I had one of my clients a long time ago, this was probably around like 2021, 2022, and the client came to me and she goes, Chris, what's it called? There was something that we were doing with the Nazi or whatever. We talked about this in another video, but essentially, it was like an 8-hour what's it called? 8-hour video. And what happened was, the Angel of Death was like, oh, I want to talk to her. So I said, okay. So we're gonna do a meditative trance. So I put her in a meditative trance, and I could see from my third eye perspective that we were on a porch. It was almost like a Wild West porch, and she was just sitting there. And she told me at the time that she had a miscarriage, and unfortunately, the baby has passed away. Because when you have a miscarriage, it's actually ironically in 111, but what's it called? So she had a miscarriage, if you will. And so she was never able to actually have that bond with her son. But the Angel of Death, he gave her a magnolia flower, a beautiful, beautiful white magnolia flower, and he handed it to her, right? And she held it, and she felt this overwhelming sense of healing. She felt like she got what she never had. She was able to hold on to that part of her that had longed for the idea. Obviously, she has healed from it because it's been many years, but every mother knows that sometimes the touch of your child is what you desire the most. And if you don't get that luxury, that life, that energy, that skin-to-skin contact, it can internally destroy you whether you want to admit it or not. And so he gave her that magnolia flower, and for the first time, she was able to feel her son. And that's when I knew that the Angel of Death does not only control death, but also can create life and can give you the opportunity to experience the fullness and the energy. Obviously, the son had went on to be reincarnated and fill out his first and foremost his real soul contract. But yet again, she was able to heal that part of her as well. So again, I do want to make sure you guys are aware that the Angel of Death is not an evil entity. It's not an evil person. It's someone who is most empathetic or most energy. Somebody has to do it. And so the Angel of Death took up that opportunity to give not only death and ensure that things are going on as smoothly as they could, but also provide the life and the tranquility and calmness. I would rather have him as somebody running the Angel of Death than anybody else because he was empathetic. He went out of his own way and gave her the magnolia flower. We didn't ask for it. He just said, I wanted to speak to her. And that is beautiful because he went out of his own way. And I think that is worth noting. I do want to make sure that's there, and don't like take away and say that JD Vance is the angel of death. He is not an angel by any means, and I feel like it would be more of just almost like offensive to the person who was very empathetic. And so I just want to make sure that was aware of why I won't call JD Vance the angel of death, but rather anything other than the angel of death, just the hand of death, if you will. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's begin. So spirits and angels tell me about JD Vance and the hand of death. Um, why is wherever JD Vance goes, bad things seem to occur, or death always seems to follow? I'm hearing JD Vance is because he is of evil intent, of ill will, of evil intentions, if you will. And because of his bad intentions and his negative energy, negative spirit, wherever he goes, he brings that negative, that darkness, that dark cloud with him wherever he goes. Like that ball of darkness, that ball of dark energy. We have the King of Wands. He wants to be a leader, so he's setting up his stage to be a world leader. Right? Here is the King of Wands. But he necessarily, in hindsight, this is the Vice Presidency card, by the way. And this is my conservative Republican card. Because he wants to be president, but is not president of the United States, he appears and brings this darkness wherever he goes. That is his sense of control. Who is J.D. Vance at his entirety? He is the hand of death. Wherever he goes, darkness follows, right? Imagine what kind of darkness he can create if he held the office of the presidency. Now, the first card that comes in is we have the Seven of Cups. Look at all that gray, dark cloud. Many things happening and occurring wherever he goes. Coincidences start to occur. And it's being further challenged by the Eight of Swords here. It's indicating to me that J.D. Vance is a very powerful spiritual advisor. At one point in time, he might have been somebody of a enlightened being. He might have been somebody who had gifts or had ability, but has since then shunned it. You ever seen like some psychics or tarot card readers, and they go from being full in spiritual realm and they understand love and kindness, all those things, and they go shift full on 360. This is what happened to JD Vance. JD Vance did a 360. But what happens when somebody has unlocked those abilities and has since then turned away from such spirituality practices? They go into the dark because those what's called those darkness, those energy, those skills, they don't go away. They don't just disappear. They stay with you forever, whether you want to admit it or not. So just say he was a very strong manifester. And now that he does not care or does not engage in any sort of spiritual practice, but he's still a manifester nonetheless. And so those darkness, that energy, wherever he goes, he manifests, he brings those into reality because he is in essence a spiritual advisor. He's able to have a powerful gift, but he's using it incorrectly. And because he's using it incorrectly, it's harming not only him, but also those around him. Hopefully that was able to provide a better sense of understanding. We also do have here as well, we do have the Fool card. Stepping over the ledge, not knowing where you're going, not knowing where you're going to fall, not knowing where you're going to land, but still taking the option to just move ahead, move forward. And we have the Lover's card here. What is also occurring within JD Vance is this relationship with him and God. So there's something here in terms of this relationship here that is unique in its own peculiar way. Because remember I talked about here as well that he moved away from a sense of spirituality, but yet he kept on to his skill, his ability, and it's being used in a very bad fashion. But there's a relationship between him and his God. Whether it's of a good God or a bad God, it's not yet for me to determine that. But whether it's determined based off the idea that this person, this entity that he's worshiping, is also encouraging that bad behavior, whatever that is. We also do have here as well, we do have this Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is reversed. Why is wherever JD Vance, he is the hand of death? Because he brings unhappiness. He brings this dark energy. He kills anything within his sight. So it almost feels like wherever he goes somewhere like this, like for example, let me use this. I really like this beautiful flower. So we're going to use it as a reference. Right, look at this gorgeous little flower. But when JD Vance goes near it, you ever seen those little indications on like what's it called, like TV or like movie or TV shows, where somebody goes up to a flower and it just dies automatically? That's the energy that JD Vance gives. He gives death, but he is the hand of death. And here you have the next card that comes in at the Four of Pentacles. he holds on to all his trauma. He holds on to his burden. And because when you hold on and you don't release, it needs to find somewhere to go. And things can latch onto you when you don't release. You become more vulnerable, you become low vibrational. And because of your low vibration, you're able to be more targeted, you'll be more vulnerable, more easily to be manipulated. That's why JD Vance went from criticizing 45 to embracing him, because the lower vibrational you are, the more likely you are gullible, more likely you're manipulated, more likely you are gaslighted. So those type of things. And this also applies to you guys as well. If you are finding yourself in a position where you are not healing certain aspects of yourself, you yourself will be subjected to the same scenarios that JD Vance is. So take this as a time to also reflect on yourself as well and say, okay, what do I need to work on? What do I need to heal? Because this is not just a political channel, but this is also a reflection of who we are as a collective, who we are as a people. So definitely keep that in mind going forward. Like, you have to ask yourself, okay, so what are some things that I need to do? What are some things that I need to focus on? Those are some things that you need to be able to sit down and talk to yourself and communicate with yourself. Okay, what can I do communally? What can I do that's communicatively effective, not only for me, but for my people, right? So let's go ahead. Let's find out what's going on with Leo, Pope Leo the 14th, and versus JD Vance, and then we'll end today's video. Pope Leo the 14th versus JD Vance. Ooh, okay, that's darkness. That's the first card that comes in. Restrictive. Okay, so there's a lot of dark energy here in terms of the connection between Pope Leo the 14th and JD Vance. The first card that comes in indicates it's darkness, pure darkness. There's not even a piece of light in this room. There's just pure darkness. Like, his darkness is overwhelmed. Like, almost like if Pope Leo had this light, it gets diminished. It's almost like a flame. Like, it almost feels very much like Pope Leo the 14th had this little flame in his candle inside this lantern. And this darkness comes in, it's cold, it's dark, it's cloudy, and it just blows everything out. And there's no lights, it's cold, it's dark. The power of JD Vance's darkness is so empowering, so emboldened, that it can squash any light within a room. We have here as well as followed by the 8 of Swords, which means darkness, constriction. It feels like almost like an anaconda. It feels like a snake. It feels like there's a wrapping of a snake around a specific individual and it's slowly constricting them. It's like, really, like, he is essentially the hand of death. And here you have the 2 of Cups reversed. The 2 of Cups reversed and saying this is not going to be one of good intention. This is not going to be a good meeting. This is going to be a very bad meeting that might not end well. We do also have here as well at the bottom of the card here, we have the 9 of Swords here. The 9 of Swords, unhappy thing. And we have here at the top of the deck, we have the Emperor. Now, actually, speaking of which, now I want to kind of know, because I'm a little bit curious, to see, okay, so if this is the case between Pope Leo the 14th and JD Vance, I kind of want to know, what if we put JD Vance and Donald Trump in the same room? What kind of environment would that pose? JD Vance, the hand of death, versus Donald John Trump, the 45th President of the United States. Can you tell me the energy of the room between JD Vance and Donald Trump, the hand of death? I'm getting roses, and roses always indicate demon or darkness or dark intent. These are all bad cards. The top of the deck is the Chariot or Ambulance. The bottom of the card here means the Knight of Swords running towards something. This feels like, oh cow. This feels like very much so like JD Vance's energy is, it makes Donald Trump's energy bounce off the wall. Like, it almost like when they're in the same room, it's like taking 2 magnets of the same polarity. So for example, you take one minus, and you put them together, you can never get them to connect because they're not the opposite, they're the same, and you just go up in 2 opposite realms. That's kind of like what it feels like when you put their energy together, and they essentially throw each other against the wall, because they are essentially, in essence, the same, one and the same. But except JD Vance emboldened embodies this dark cloud, this dark energy, whereas 45, he embodied the energy, the lightning rod within that dark cloud. That is how it's represented here. The card that comes in, the first card is the Empress. The Empress card comes in is not grounded femininity, not the equilibrium balance. I mean, they are both dominated by the masculine, but in high, enormous velocity. It almost tells me here that they had very, very minuscule, if anything at all, a little drop of femininity, which means the caring, the loving, the nature, the nurturing part of them. They don't have that. This is the first time we're talking about a man who does not embody that. They have very little, very minuscule. It's actually interesting too, because when you start to go into the game plan here, I think it talked about here, what's it called? Just studied in one of these readings, one of these channelings. I don't have time to read it. Okay, anyway, beside the point, that's a whole other issue for a whole other day. We also have here as well, we have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is reversed. This card is indicating to me because we have the Empress card reversed, the Page of Swords reversed, which means young energy, which indicates dark energy, like not moving forward an idea of new progressive ideas or new ideas to move the nation forward or move people or the collective forward. It kind of feels like it holds you back. It prevents you from moving forward in some way. And then you have here, you have the Star card reverse, which is again the energy between 45 and 45 and JD Van. We have the Star card reverse. This indicates a non-equilibrium, right? The non-equilibrium. You kind of see here, you have the Star card where this person taking water from the pond, and you have water here. You see less water here, more water here. This is indicating to me, because it is reversed, it's indicating that there is not an equilibrium. One has more power than the other. So it depends on the circumstance and when things are happening, but they both equal in some way. But one can overshadow the other when it calls to do so. We also do have here, we do have the Chariot, we do have Ambulance here. So eventually the Hand of Death of J.D. Vance could constrict 45 if the power wanes enough on his side, where his darkness could again wrap around 45 like a snake and constrict him and kill him. Essentially, that could be what that is, that the ambulance card does come in here, so it does feel very much so that the longer J.D. Vance lingers and the weaker that 45 becomes, that constriction, that snake, the anaconda wrapped around 45, slowly choking him. And you have here the Knight of Swords. And it's going to happen pretty quickly. So the energy is pretty much the same. What is the bottom of the deck here? We have the Queen of Swords, the inability to leap forward, and you have here betrayal, the Ten of Swords. It does feel like J.D. Vance is not going to betray Trump as of now, but he's going to get to that point where it is the Ten of Death will always be the one that will make that decision. Whether he means to or not is yet to be determinative, but it feels like we're heading in that direction. So that's all that I'm getting right now for what is going on. So I'm not going to cover any more. I hope you guys liked today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you guys all next time. Until then, peace out. I love you. Bye.